These old producers are really mad at me. In my last video, I made it very clear. I said, if you're over the age of 19, you need to just stop making beats. And I also made it clear that you need to cut out all that boom bap soul sample stuff because no one wants to hear those beats. That all happened within the first 20 seconds of my last video. The problem is I turned 40 last year and virtually all of my beats are soul sample beats. I mean, I make a lot of the samples, but still. Now, I expected a lot of people not to get the sarcasm, but I completely underestimated how many producers were going to watch the first 20 seconds and get so upset that they didn't watch any more of the video and immediately just left an angry comment. Cold-blooded clown for this ignorant opinion. He wasted time making a video. Gotta be some vanilla shithead trying to sound like he making a point. Vanilla shithead is a new one. Andrew says, an L take from someone no one has heard of. You've heard of me, Andrew. Stick to shitty chains and hoodies and garbage trap beats. My older brother made that hoodie. Fuck you, Andrew. Old school and vinyl will still have its place in music long after your dime a dozen generic beats. Vinyl, huh? But emotionally unstable grown men with zero impulse control aside, I think I got something wrong. So I thought Emrld was trolling with his anti-soul sample, anti-boom bap comments. I saw a lot of legends in the producer community commenting on that video, commenting on how disrespectful it was, etc. And I got to thinking, even if he was trolling, isn't it still kind of a problem? Brought it up in the podcast. My co-hosts definitely saw it as problematic. I want to share with you what they had to say about it. And as always, thank you for supporting the new podcast channel, and thank you for supporting us by going to tolost.com, putting in the code MEC, and getting 3 free months of unlimited music distribution. Get your music, get your beats on all platforms, even if it's old boom bap soul sample unk shit, or those garbage trap beats that apparently I love making. They're not doing any good sitting on your hard drive. Appreciate you watching. Can't wait for the comments section on this. Man, if you're making beats and you're over the age of like 27, just stop. No one wants to hear old men making beats.
If you sampling a soul record, get that bullshit out of here. No one's trying to hear that.
They make this old boom bap stuff. No one wants to hear that.
I hate soul, boom bap.
Exactly.
Get that unk shit out of here, bro. I don't like any of that music.
Matter of fact, if you're over the age of 19, you need to quit making beats. On a surface level, I'm saddened that sarcasm is still such a dead language that on Christmas morning, I was getting angry DMs. Let me just read it because it was hilarious. Oh, it's funny. You talk down on old producers. I said, La definitely, you were just the baby. That even more yet. So who, I don't know what he's trying to say. He was, you know, when like dudes get emotional, their texts just go crazy and you like all language faculties go out the window. Cause your music's not really that good either. It's all fixed. Like, bitch, you never heard my music. Cause if you did, it's all soul samples and old man shit. If I'm being real, pioneers don't reason why you're, I can't keep reading this. I feel like I'm having a stroke, but either way, he was really upset with me and was calling me, you know, a young boy and all this shit. And I'm like, but do you see my hairline, sir?
That you're 19?
Really? Do I look nice? If I do, thank you. If you think I actually look 19, I will take that as a compliment and forget all the mean stuff I said about you. Otherwise, I think it's just people not using they're using their lizard brains, not their evolved brains, and just getting really upset. And you know, which is fine. If you want to call me young, I'm just gonna count that as like a net zero. But back to that intro video, I was being sarcastic. I thought the guy was being sarcastic, the Emrld dude. I thought he was trolling. Erin disagrees. She thinks it's serious. And there are a lot of producers, a lot of obviously producers from maybe the generation before me and beyond that had a problem with that clip. And it was posted, I thought, out of context. I thought it was a part of a larger interview where he's trolling. And I watched the full thing and it didn't feel like he was trolling. So I think maybe I fucked up and gave him a pass. And then what I realized was that even if he wasn't trolling, I personally wouldn't feel comfortable walking into a certain cultural space and then being sarcastic and joking and jokingly mocking and insulting the fabric of that culture and the history of it. I just wouldn't feel, you know, how. So my question is, what, if he's not trolling, or if he is trolling, if he's being sarcastic, what made him feel emboldened to do so brazenly without a sense of backlash or consequences? Because I don't think there's going to be one. I don't think that's going to hurt his relationships at all. Is that a generation gap thing? I don't know.
I mean, I just think it's the time that we're in. It's the time that we're in, politically. I mean, you see people jumping out the window, or it's not even really jumping out the window. Like, it's people that want to stir up, a certain amount of, they want a certain amount of uproar. Because when he said that, it didn't even sound like he was comfortable. Like, I feel like he was trolling. Just from that, I didn't see this whole video, but it didn't even sound like he was comfortable saying, but he knew what he was doing.
He's not a comfortable kid, though. Like, if you watch the interview, it's not like he's confident and he's young and he's on right now. It's not. That's just his vibe in general.
Yeah, it looks like that, but that's what a lot of people are doing on the internet right now, whether they believe it or not. They know what the impact is going to be, and they're just, again, looking for views and clicks, and they don't care about your culture. They don't care about, Fat Joe was talking about foundational Black America. Everybody's just talking. Everybody's just talking crazy, and until there are consequences again. Because the benefits in their eyes outweigh the potential consequences, right? Because they're going to get more views. I'm sure there was a lot of engagement on that post, good and bad, probably more good from his community, right? People are just super serving their.
But does it matter at this point? Like you said, it's a sign of the times. Does it matter if it's all bad engagement?
No, it does. I think a lot of people are just super serving their community. And even if their community is excited by hate, what was that comedian that got a little bit of backlash because he opened up for Trump? What was his name?
Kill Tony, yeah.
Kill Tony. But everybody can say these crazy things and just go back to their community where they're praised for it, right? They'll say crazy things on a bigger platform, get a lot of attention, and get more people to just funnel into their little hate-filled world and continue to get a lot of money and praise in that. And then they'll come out of their little corner and say something crazy on a bigger platform, and that'll funnel more people again into their hate-filled world. That's their play. And you have these little niches of hate and just recklessness, and that's where they make a lot of money. So I think we're giving
him too much credit, though. He's 19, maybe. I don't think he was doing it for the clicks. I think he really has a complete lack of respect for the culture and doesn't realize. I'm going to spare y'all from making this a racial conversation, but that's what it is to me. It feels like you have come into our culture, but it's never been gatekept, because when we gatekeep it, we're the opposite, and there's no ramifications when you do things to our culture in this country and a lot of times in the world. This is where I feel most of an urgency to gatekeep is my culture. So it's like you can come in, you can land hits, you can be on Genius at 18, 19, 20, and you can say outrageous shit like, I don't want no unk shit, which to me is half the audience didn't even know what he was saying with that. Do you know what I'm saying? So even his terminology is cherry picked from our culture, and it really bothered me. And I could tell he wasn't joking because he was just so emphatic about it. And so respectfully, it wasn't intelligent enough of a conversation for me to think that he was being hyperbolic or saying it in jest and keeping the same tone. I'm there's nothing that was intellectually stimulating enough about this for it to indicate to me that he was trying to be tongue-in-cheek or trying to be funny. So it's he was disrespectful and then doubled down on his disrespect, but it's because he's already been let into the culture and has a massive hit and multiple people in his back pocket who are hiring him to produce.
Time out. Take a step back here. Who the fuck is this? I don't even know who this is. And
He's got a couple of hits.
And what platform? Why does anybody even care what this kid said? What hits does he have, and what platform was this on?
This was on the Radar, which is huge. A lot of really amazing artists on there. And I think the reason he's on there is because he produced a track a couple years ago that went viral on that very platform. I mean, I think exceeded 50 million views just on YouTube alone. But he's kind of like NLE Chopper's go-to producer right now.
So it's like, and then even saying, who is this? That's the internet age. It's like you could have, like you said, somebody over here, they're making a ton of money in their tiny little silo. And then they come out to the masses. It's like the world is super siloed. Like we are nobody in one world and then somebody and really somebody in a whole nother world. So it's like, I don't think that like there's not a lack of merit attached to the fact that we don't know who he is directly. He's kind of like one of the new up and coming producers, but like, what does that actually mean? It's like he could be doing for NLE Chopper, but he's not doing but he's not doing, for this person. But yeah, he has enough notoriety for enough people to say like, yo, this kid is kind of hot right now. I'm not saying that he has a bearing per se on my culture, but he does have a bearing on hip hop culture right now because he's been let in and he's consistently producing. And now he's being seen, even if in a small scene, as an authority in the space, which is why he got interviewed. It's why people resonate with the conversation. It's why he feels like he has the right to say things. My culture, the thing about me is that there are certain things I cannot say out of respect for my predecessors. That's how I grew up, right? That's like a culture of respect that I think comes along with my community. But hip hop doesn't necessarily equate to my community, but I do think that there's a reverence, as it's a deep reverence, you know what I'm saying? Like, for what we're doing, for what we have to offer. And I don't think there's a reverence. He's just making beats. It's the cool thing to do. He was on his computer. He streams. He does whatever. He's just making beats. So he's like, man, I'm not with that unk shit. But for me, I felt like it was really distasteful to say something like that.
Troll culture is just the internet now. And it's just pop culture. I mean, because everything's monetized now, to the point where the competition is high. I think there was that renaissance of monetization where people were making $1,000 off of Instagram Reels just for posting authentic Reels. And then they started opening up that program for everybody. And that money started drying up and people realized, I got to say wild shit in order to actually get that algorithmic boost that's going to set me over the edge to where I'm making money again. It's the reason when I go on Facebook, I'll see a post that'll say like, as a man, why are you using tap to pay? And it goes everywhere. And I know the original poster of that probably made 5,000 just off that one post because it got 200,000 shares and everybody's angry about it. Rage bait is making a killing. The difference is,
I feel like calling it rage bait though. I think On the Radar knew it was rage bait, which is the why.
Oh yeah.
Picked it up. But I feel like giving him the title of troll takes away the responsibility to own his disrespect. Because you can just, he's just trolling. No, I don't think he's trolling. He's being disrespectful because he doesn't realize what he's saying is crazy as shit. Like, you shouldn't be saying stuff like this. Like, you are a kid white boy coming into the culture that embraced you. Really, a rapper embraced you, and it led to you having a lucrative career, at least at the onset of your career. And now you're disrespecting an entire culture that you haven't studied enough, calling it unk shit. That shit is wild to me. Because a lot of his reference points, it's clear, come from soul music. So it's like, yo, you don't even understand. That's why I'm saying I know that it wasn't trolling, because I feel like there's a lack of depth and understanding that he was completely missing.
Well, even if it wasn't, it's different from just your typical rage bait, because rage bait for the sake of rage is one thing, whereas this is shitting where you sleep. You know, shitting where you eat, honestly. Let's be real.
That's what I'm saying. This shit is dumb. But the problem is we won't gatekeep them. Now, I wish NLE Chopper, I wish all of us would be like, cool, fuck you, and just let it go. Because that's how you gatekeep culture. When people violate the rules, you get kicked out. You're not allowed into Wakanda anymore, right? You're not even allowed into the outskirts of Wakanda. Like, get the fuck out. And that's what I wish would happen. But instead, it blows up. It becomes a meme. People laugh about it. Now his name gets spread and folks will be like, man, let me check out bruh's beats. Oh, they're not too bad. I could fuck with bruh. And then he's in the studio somewhere. And I'm like, this shit is wild to me. We're sitting here
Yeah,
talking about it, giving his name some prop, or not props, but we're propping up his name. And now people are going to go look into him and they're going to critique his beats. They're going to think about what they like about him. I'm like, this shit is sick.
I mean, like you said, I think it's a huge problem with the young rappers today too, that won't say anything and maybe don't even understand the disrespect. Like there's such a lack of knowledge, a lack of history that they don't even understand or care that they should step in and say something. The flip side of this is it could have been the setup for a crazy record, right? Like if this was trolling and he dropped a slapper, like soulful record with N Only Chopper, like the next day, that could have been a crazy like rollout
featuring Ari Lennox and Joey Badass.
That.
Yeah, that could have been a dope rollout for a song. But I don't want to give this cat any more time.
Well, okay, but fine. But zooming out, we're in a weird space culturally because I don't, this was years ago and I had to unfollow some people. There was an artist who was using the N-word hard R in some of his songs and it was going viral and it got him a bunch. I mean, he was already a multi-millionaire rapper and I'm looking at who's supporting him and rappers want to do songs with him because he's successful.